Welcome to episode 1 of the Perspective podcast, where we take a step back from the bustle of professional life and explore the passions of the people who make up Edmonton's business community. Today we're joined by Jamie Fleese. Thank you for joining us, Jamie, on our first episode.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Jamie is the Director of Development for Morgan Demolition and Abatement, and also a full-time awesome person.
I love that.
It's not the first time.
Starting on Friday well. Feels good.
So let's start off with a short bio, Jamie. Let's hear, what are you all about? Where'd you come from?
Well, I'm really proud to say I come from Edmonton.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it seems not as common as I think it is, being an Edmontonian.
Mm-hmm.
Like great melting pot Canada is, and Alberta, and with business and oil, we have all sorts of folks coming in. That's awesome.
Lots of land of opportunity out here.
Yeah.
That's when my dad came here in 1980.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I was also born and raised in Edmonton.
It was a hard time, 1980.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Starting into a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was out of work for 2 years because of the downturn back then. But I've also gotten to see the advantages of being an Albertan, and yourself, I'm sure, hard work and
hard work pays off right at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think I followed in my parents' footsteps a little bit. Mom's a hairstylist, and dad
I can tell.
Thank you.
Looking great.
I'm a billboard. I'm a walking advertisement.
Exactly.
But on the weekend, you'll find me with a ball cap on most of the time. I get sick and tired of doing the hair all the time. Anyway, and Dad was in natural gas.
Cool.
Grandpa was in industrial, and I'm a pretty classic Alberta girl story.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what you're in.
Morgan Demolition and Abatement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was your starting? How'd you get into that?
Well, 20 years commercial construction in Edmonton. I was actually a sign painter in high school.
A sign painter.
Yeah. So very different. Signage, demolition.
Yeah.
And
what was your, how'd you get into sign painting? What was that all about?
Well, I was lucky enough to have an instructor in high school. I was an abstract, because I don't paint much anymore. An abstract oil painter.
Still in there somewhere.
It is. Yeah. And I'm crafty, and I'm always doing something beautiful, whether it be flowers or what have you. But anyhow, he had a really cool saying. He didn't believe in broke artists.
Yeah.
So he tried to teach most of us a trade or something commercial or something where we could pay the bills. So he taught me how to be a sign painter. Right this minute, actually, I have still a mural on the wall at the Royal Glenora Club.
No way.
Yeah, it's
That's
in the fitness
cool.
center. It was his design. Gene Prokop is his name. It's 10 feet off the ground. It's 35 feet long. It's 10 feet high. It's surreal. And it's, people doing fitness things that they offer at the Royal Glenora Club. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it.
I'm going to keep an eye out for that next time.
Cool. Yeah, so signage. Loved it. And we were making $25 an hour in 1995, 1996. Yeah, I know. I was very, very excited about that. Yeah. So I went to NAIT. Thought I'd get a little bit more education. They teach you very, very tangible skills. Well, it's a graphic sign arts program. They teach you accounting, and they teach you business, and they teach you salesmanship, and they large range of things. Very sad that I learned about 2 months in that sign painting really was dying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I had the opportunity to meet the owner of High Signs Manufacturing.
Right.
And 4 days out of 8, he hired me to be a salesperson.
Very cool.
Sales assistant.
A sales assistant.
Yeah.
And now you're the big sales boss.
Well, the sales assistant thing, not that I don't love a team.
Yeah.
I guess it didn't work for me. I was seeing things and finding things and developing leads right away, and I said I would like some credit. Yeah, I'd like some exactly. Yeah, so I still I still was lucky enough to work with some great mentors in those early years, and even to this day that teach you things and different ways to look at things. And
very cool.
Yeah,
that's quite the journey. 20 years, and here you are, and killing it in the sales game.
Well, it's not an easy game.
It's not easy, no.
It takes a lot.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know if you get this in your company, but business development, it's a funny name for sales, right? Yeah. And people think all I do is socialize.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, and that's an interesting segue, because when I left signage, I thought, what if I'm just a sign gal? What if my passion is signage?
Right.
And I was lucky enough to learn that it wasn't that. It was leaving my mark in the city in some way.
Yeah, that's how I find it too. Like growing up, when I was trying to find my niche in the company, I was wondering like how on earth would I be able to be passionate about furniture? It's just furniture.
Well, it's really nice.
It is very nice, but I don't see myself committing my life to it, right? But then you come to realize that there's more to it than just the product, right? There's the entire aspect of, building relationships and, strengthening community ties within the business community and friendships, exactly. Like there's so much to be enjoyed, like in the journey of getting the sale of the product, right?
The win's pretty fun.
Exactly. Yeah, the win is very fun, and the journey is even more fun, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not a short game.
It's not a short game at all.
It's not a short game. No. I mean, not to make light and call it a game, but I'm heavily involved with the Edmonton Construction Association.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Been involved with the YBG, the Young Builders Group.
Yeah, it's a great
group.
And
kind of the old lady in the group starting to maybe age out, but I don't want it.
Nonsense.
Okay, right? I know. But young builders, the new people coming in, the new salespeople, the new tradespeople, the new site supers, but sticking to sales, my specialty. People often think that they're going to these events to close a deal. Mm-hmm. And so it is a learning curve.
For sure. And those young guys, they need mentors like yourself, right? So there's always going to be that place, even within those young builder organizations, for people like yourself to mentor those people to, become reach their full potential as salespeople and just positive contributors to the business community, right?
Very much so. Yeah. And, even I'm having coffee next week with a young lady who has a master's in geology.
Cool.
And I haven't gotten to the coffee yet, so I don't know why she's not pursuing that specifically. Mm-hmm. But she's interested in getting into construction. I don't have a position for her. I don't know a friend that has a position for her. But that's that part of giving back. I said, let's have a coffee. She has she has a new baby. I said, bring the baby.
Yeah.
Totally. We'll have a coffee and maybe I can help.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know in what way you might be able to help someone.
I feel like that sounded really egotistical. Like I have power or
no,
influence.
But here's the thing. We all do. We all have the capacity to help other people in one way or another.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's important for us to understand that and even take upon us the responsibility to help others when we can. And so that's a beautiful thing that you're doing. I don't think it's egotistical at all.
And I thank you for rephrasing, helping me feel comfortable with that. That is my goal.
Yeah.
In life, it's just to be known for being helpful.
Yeah.
Being kind.
Yeah. Totally.
Integrity, and so yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm all about as well, especially in the inner city. We do a lot of work in the inner city with at-risk youth, and we have a food program for the homeless and such. And it's, on the surface, it looks like you're just serving a meal or giving somebody a little handout or something. But there's so much more to that, especially when you're able to develop a relationship with that person and provide them with that sense of community, right? Because that's what it's all about. People, even within the business community, especially younger folks, they just want to feel like they belong in the community and they have people that they can turn to when they need guidance, right? So for us to serve as those people, it's a beautiful thing, right? And I myself am one of those young guys, and I have mentors in the business community that I look up to, and I can safely say that it takes you from being a nervous, kid who doesn't really know what he or she is doing to being confident, right? And being able to carry yourself with that.
Somebody you look up to sees what they know they had in you and helps grow and mentor that. Yeah, it's beautiful. Now that was work, but I need to pause.
Yeah.
It's really cool that you guys go out there and you've built something beautiful here and it's growing, and I can't even imagine what it looks like, Nerval, in 10 years. Did I pronounce that right?
Nerval, yeah.
Thank you.
Nerval. The Punjabi pronunciation is Nerval.
Okay,
I don't expect you to say that.
My Albertan, Ukrainian, Irish, Scottish. Anyway, thank you for doing that, because it's a duty.
It really is. It's a social responsibility that I feel, a lot of people do have. And it's been a community effort through and through. You know?
I feel really, really blessed. I've had an amazing life.
Yeah.
My parents don't live in a mansion, and nobody's retiring early, and but I also never struggled. not real struggle. So I feel blessed, and I always take the opportunity to be generous.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like it's my duty.
Totally. And you saw the hard work that your parents did.
Yep.
To raise you.
Yep.
Right? And so even though you yourself didn't have to struggle, just like me, like I didn't have to struggle very much, but I had the opportunity to see their journey. And that instilled a lot of value, it instilled those values in me, to have the appreciation of what it means to have good work ethic. And
yes, thank
you. What it
you.
means to appreciate what you have. Right?
Yes.
And now for me, it's like, when I get married and have kids, it's like, how do I instill those values in the next generation?
Yeah.
Right? Because if they don't see me struggle, maybe I got to make them struggle a little bit, right?
So I like that you defined struggle.
Yeah.
We may not struggle, but no matter what we do, we have to work hard.
Yeah.
We have to be good people.
Totally.
And yes, I observe a lot of... I don't have children either, but 33 children call me auntie.
Yeah.
My best friend's 3 kids, my cousins 4 kids, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's very much a challenge because there's some sort of something that has happened where if we struggled, we don't want our children to struggle like we struggled, so maybe we give them too many advantages.
Yeah.
Maybe we make things too easy.
Yeah.
Bring your dish to the dishwasher. It's simple. Start there.
Totally.
We have a dishwasher.
Yeah. So Jamie, besides, so we talked about, your work history. We talked about some of your passions. There was something that really struck me in your responses to some of the questions that I sent you, and that was your the problem that you saw in the community that we would wish to solve, and that was the.
You're gonna do it. We gotta talk about politics.
We gotta talk about it. We gotta go there.
Okay.
Oil and gas.
Okay. Ignorant Alberta girl.
Ignorant Alberta man.
Hey,
everybody has an opinion.
And first and foremost, because I'm pretty straight with most of my beliefs, and I struggle to not make it judgmental on the other side.
Yeah.
And I struggle really hard with this one.
Yeah.
Born and raised, like I said, Grandpa was industrial, went bankrupt in 82, 3, 4, 5 or something. Dad was out of work. I know what the Conservative government means to this province very clearly.
Yeah.
Working in construction my whole life, very clearly, I know what the Conservative government means, and I'm grateful. Yeah, that's right. Go blue, bleed blue.
It's on camera.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I am surprised at how orange the city is. And again, I don't read the paper enough. I don't listen to the news enough. I find that I love to sit down with a friend and learn something new from you. And I get tainted by some of the drama and the exaggeration that happens in the media. Anyway, so Conservative government. I'm very excited. I'm not surprised what happened 4 years ago.
Yeah.
A little disruption makes for good things. Anyway, so I'm super excited, and
I think it'll be good for Alberta.
I think I'm also excited to see what happens with more Conservative provinces and see what happens in the federal election.
Yeah.
Like I said, I always confess ignorance. I love to sit with people who are more intelligent, and you learn more every day and week and year. I also want to see a Conservative federal government. I've made it easy on myself.
Yeah.
I vote party in federal and provincial elections, and I vote the person in municipal.
Right.
I think that close to my home, it's important to know who.
Yeah.
Because
you're going to be having run-ins with this person, and you want to make sure it's somebody that you can relate to, and somebody who cares about your concerns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have a compassion for people in the limelight, people in the spotlight. I don't have a Facebook account. I don't tweet that much. I don't LinkedIn that much.
Yeah.
Because I'm convinced I'm going to do something stupid. Say something
loose cannon.
Right, not quite thoughtful, or, and not that it comes to my true being. I just said something dumb, and I think that happens, and it is absolutely the responsibility of leaders to watch it.
Yeah. And honestly, I wish that, you know, the social environment made it more conducive for people to have a safe conversation, because I think a lot of people feel like that. I think a lot of people are scared to say something ignorant or something provocative because they feel like they'll get torn down. And honestly, I feel like the problem in that dynamic is not so much the ignorance. I think it's the intolerance of the ignorance. There's a lot to be said about that. For sure. That's a whole other conversation.
Totally, right?
Should bring in a psychologist or something.
We'll talk about religion.
Yeah.
We're not doing it.
All right, Jamie, it was great to have you on the podcast. Thank you for joining us. We will certainly stay in touch. Maybe I'll bring you back for a second episode, you know, if there's something else that you'd like to discuss and put it out there, because I think once we put this out there, we'll foster a really nice discussion around some of the points that we talked about.
Thanks for having me, Jesse.
Not a problem, Jamie.